Now then, and welcome to the video. Big thank you to all you likers, watchers and subscribers. This week's video's in the title. We went to Crick. How was your weekend? Mine weren't so great actually. But that's another story, but we'll get to that shortly. Anyway, as you all may be aware or may not be aware, Crick was at the end of May this year, and it was over 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and the Monday. We decided to go down and camp for the whole weekend. Well, actually we didn't decide it. Louise, my PA, decided that from Narrowboat Changing Pace. So we duly booked it. We arrived on the Friday night around about 5 or 6 o'clock. I then got Debbie to turn round and take me straight to the walk-in centre at Rugby. Unfortunately, my knee was really hurting. My left knee, my good knee was hurting. So Julie took a trip to Rugby, and when I came out of there, they literally sent me to Coventry Hospital, that is, where I sat in the minor injuries unit for about 4 hours, 5 hours. Eventually, they gave me some antibiotics and let me out on crutches. It was still very painful. I was unable to put any weight on it really because it gave way underneath me. We're not entirely sure what did it. I could have been bitten some weeks ago, but I knelt on it on the Friday. The only thing I can think of is I knelt it on it on the Friday morning, and yeah, there was this bit of a sharp pain, but I didn't think anything of it. Anyway, it turns out that possibly could have been the thing. I got an infection underneath the skin, which was called cellulitis. Now, I went around telling everyone it was cellulite. It's got many a weird look from women because they said cellulite doesn't hurt that much. But it was cellulitis, I was reminded by Debbie. Anyway, so that was our Friday. We got back to the camp around about 10 o'clock, and I went straight to bed. I was very, very tired and in quite a bit of pain. So we thought, let's get an early night. Following up the next morning will be grand. Saturday morning, I awoke feeling all right. My leg was still killing me, but I was all right. So I thought, let's go and get round the show and look at all the things we want to see. I wasn't going to film anything really. I was just going to take the odd picture here and there. And if I spoke to anyone and they were all right with being on the channel, I was going to include them in it. But I thought, I'm not going to do anything. That's for the Sunday and probably the Monday. The Monday's the best day to do the filming because it's a quieter day. There's not many people around. So that was my plan. So the first thing I did, and there was another thing I needed to do, which was Debbie found highly exciting, which was go to the masterclasses on in the masterclass tent. The first one was Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi on board are a company that supply Wi-Fi products. I haven't bought any. They're not sponsoring me. They were just doing the talk, and it was a very interesting one because it gave me quite a lot of information and quite a lot of ideas for what we're going to do, because our setup is now three and a bit years old. Yeah, 3 years old. So it's quite old for a Wi-Fi system. So we're going to have a look at the different routers that are going around and aerials. What's prompted this is in Lancaster, EE took down a couple of masts, some 2 and 3G masts, and they've caused major issues. We've got hardly any signal in Lancaster on EE. As with Vodafone's the same. We've not got a great, a really good reception there. So we decided, well, maybe instead of changing network, we upgrade the routers and the aerial in case they're just using 4 and 5G masts now, which I think is what the plan is. Don't quote me on that, I might be completely wrong. Anyway, that was quite an interesting talk, gave me a lot of ideas. Well, gave us a lot of ideas. I'm going to look around for a better router and possibly even a better aerial. But we'll leave that. I think Cruising Crafts have got a new aerial, and I need to contact them and see what sort of system they're getting, what they've got, and what sort of signal they're getting now. But that, hopefully we can do that in a different video. So I only got 2 pictures from the whole day. One was entering the entering the Crick grounds, the entrance, that was about it. And then I got another one later on in the day. The next masterclass, because I was sitting down, I thought, yeah, a bit tired, a bit sore, so I'll have a sit down for a bit longer. The next one was paint, which was even more thrilling for Debbie. We talked about paint drying. I was fascinated because we're trying to do the boat at the moment. I've done the engine room. I'm on the engine room now. Spoiler alert, that's coming up in a video or two time. So we've done that. But I'm also concentrating on the external because the weather's gorgeous. It's a bit too hot to paint now, but hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, the weather will change a bit. It'll be a bit less bakingly hot. But I can do it later in the evening as long as I'm not too late. We could go into the ins and outs of dew points and things like that about when paint should be applied and what weathers and things. But I'm doing the roof, and I'm not too bothered about the roof because the roof is going to be done fairly regularly because we tramp up and down it and we bung things on it and scratch it, so it'll get done often, that more often than it has been done in the past. And that's my fault, nobody else's. Yeah, so that was a really good talk. It gave me a lot of information and a lot of ideas of how I'm going to do the boat. I'm going to actually paint the boat using two systems. One is brush and the other one is roller. I'm going to see which one really gives me a good finish. The other thing I'm going to do, which wasn't part of that masterclass, it was a different one, is use a special oil that goes onto the paint, which rejuvenates it, grabs the pigment and brings it to the fore, because we've got faded pigment on the boat. So for all of you out there who boats are fading and you can't get the shine back, I'm going to test this product out in probably next time's video. I'm going to use it next week, so it'll be next couple of weeks time that it will be on the channel, and you'll be able to see what sort of system we've got and follow it, how it goes, how it lasts. Yeah, so that should be fascinating for all you paint watchers. So after those masterclasses, I then decided I wanted to have a sit down, but first I wanted to go and see Lisa and Glenn from A Life Full of Meaning. They had a stall on the in the craft tent, and they were there, and they were there for the whole weekend selling plants and bits and bobs from their website. It was lovely to see them, and some ages. I had some drawers from Narrowboat Laura we took out from the bedroom. I don't know if you saw that one, but we took out the drawers in the bedroom, and we were just going to chop them up. But Glenn was thinking, I need to put drawers in, and I said I might have the thing for you. So he's got them now. Hopefully he can incorporate them into his boat underneath his chair or something. They're a lot bigger drawers than he's got, so it should work pretty good. So we saw them, had a good old chitty chat with them, met up with and saw a few other of the YouTubers as we were wandering around. So then we went back to the beer tent because I needed to sit down then. My leg was hurting quite a lot, so I had to sit down, and that's when we had the vloggers, I was going to say reunion, but it's not, bloggers meetup. Lots of vloggers there, particularly Phil came up to me from Locking Through Life, told me all about what's going wrong with his boat. No, he didn't. He never said it. He's very tight-lipped about what's going on with his boat, but I think that it's going to be in one of his upcoming videos how the progress is going. We also spoke to Paul, and Anthony came over, and Dexter, old Dexter, he came and sat with us, and they were telling us all about their new boat, which is Morningstar 2, was part of, unfortunately didn't win the whole competition. I think it came second, but best boating show went to a braid bar boat. Unfortunately, I didn't see either of them. So I couldn't really comment on how good they are. I really desperately want to see the colour of the boats, because they look absolutely fantastic on camera. So yeah, so we saw them. Who else did we see? Neil from the boating photography. He's a boating photographer channel. He came over. He's a really nice bloke. I was sat down. I wasn't loading it up thinking I'm the famous YouTuber or anything. I was just sat there with my foot up. And so everybody came to me, which was really nice of him. Very kind. They didn't have to. Neil came over. I'm very jealous of Neil because he went on holiday in Jordan not so long ago. and he did some cracking photos of his holiday. It was a real once in a lifetime opportunity to go there, and he really enjoyed it. He was telling me all about it, and I'm a bit jealous of him for that. So I told him I've not watched any of the videos. So, well, he's well worth a watch because he does some lovely photography. He doesn't just do boating; he'll go walking. He's based around the River Nen, whichever one takes your fancy today. He's based around there, and he does some lovely walks and gets some really good photographs from that. Who else did we see? Dave and Louise were obviously there from. I've got some bits in my hair. I've been painting. Yeah, I've got bits in my hair. Dave and Louise were there from Narrowboat Changing Pace. They were camping with us, along with Narrowboat Pirate Heidi. She was just one up from us, and she was great. She was a bit like my mum, actually. She was saying, "Look after your knee." So she was good, and yeah, she had a good weekend too. But I really enjoyed spending a bit of time just chitty chatting. They're all very nice people. Other than that, who else did we see? Chili Jam Jeff was there. Obviously, he's part of the crew that does the engine room chat on the first Monday of the month, which is tomorrow. So join us then. Tomorrow it's an hour we witter on about our engines and all the problems we have with the boats. Mostly it's me telling everyone my engine's bust. But anyway, yeah, and who else was there? Oh, and someone I met regularly comments on our videos, and that's Stella and Matthew from Narrowboat Nogging the Nog. They're like us. They use phones to film things, and it's all wobbly. But really nice to meet them. They've spoken, are very, very supportive of the channel. You know, always liking, always commenting. And they've got a great little channel themselves. They do all sorts of stuff like they're leisure boaters. They're not full-time boaters, but they are. It's a really good channel. Check them out. It's Narrowboat Nogging the Nog, Stella and Matthew. Really nice to meet them, and I hope to meet them again sometime soon. Who else was there? Yeah, so that was those. Yeah, I think that's everybody who I met. I couldn't obviously get up and wander around, but I know some of the big YouTubers were there. Gary was there, and I still haven't got to speak to him twice. I've gone to say hello to him. This year I couldn't move, literally. So that was a shame, but there we are. Other than that, we saw some viewers as well. If I've missed anyone out from the YouTube bloggers, just put it in and say, "Oi, you missed me out." A few of the YouTube viewers of our channel, there's a boat going by. Should we stare out the window? I'm going to stare out the window. I'll be back with you in a minute. Sorry about that. Boat comes by, you've got to go and have a look. Anyway, so where was that? Viewers. So we saw a couple of the viewers. One was Michael. Unfortunately, I didn't see his Mrs. Margaret. They're followers of the channel. I've known Moggy since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And they've got a little boat on, is it near Tatnall Marina Way. They're around that area there. And they've invited me to come on and see. We were supposed to do the trip over to the Lanky. I think they're stopping where they are for now. They're just going to travel around there and do the Lanky another time. But I'm desperate to go and see their boat because it's a lovely boat. And they've been doing ballast and all sorts of things. They will even get it seaworthy because they can't use Preston Brook Tunnel. They're just a bit too wide for it. So they're having to go down. If they do that trip, they have to use the Manchester Ship Canal. So I'm desperate to see the things that they've had to do to get that. Anyway, it was lovely to see them. And who else did I see? Yeah, and then there was David and Heather. I think it's David and Heather. I must admit, I'd taken quite a lot of painkillers, so I was a little bit out of it. But they came and sat with me, and I kept them captive for about an hour, maybe two, wittering on in their ears. I think it's David and Heather, and they have a boat on the Lanky. And they again have invited me to go on their boat and have a look round, because it's a little bit of a different steering mechanism. It's not a tiller system, it's a steering wheel. I'll not give too much away, because I'm hoping I can film it for you with them. Great couple, really made me feel welcome, you know, and happy. They let me whit around for hours, a bit like you lot are doing now. So hello to those two. Debbie, of course, whenever somebody turns up to talk, disappears off, because she's. Well, we managed to collar her for a bit anyway. She sat, and we all had a good chat. It was great to see them, and they were a really nice couple. So I'm hoping to see them very soon to do that. And the final one, my hero. Well, I'm saying my hero. I started watching this chap right at the beginning of his journey on the canals. It's called Narrowboat Will, and he came over to me to tell me he watched my channel, which was quite humbling. I was really, because he's got many, we're only a tiny little channel and hope to always stay small. I'm not too bothered about subscribers. All I'm bothered about is I put these out so that CRT don't say you've not moved enough, but they still do anyway. But to see Narrowboat Will, I was like so impressed. I'm just sorry I couldn't spend more time with him. He had a great day. I watched his video afterwards. I was a little bit starstruck because you know, I've followed his videos for ages. Anyway, he's well worth a check out. His videos are now on the River Nen at the moment. Nen, whatever you want. He's round there. I think his last one was locking on or off. But he was telling me about being on the river itself. Great guy. If you want to watch that, go and watch that one as well. So that's about everybody who I can remember off the top of my head. So after that, away from the beer tent, went back to the campsite, had a barbecue, had a really good chitty chat with everyone, and then a few other people went off to watch the tribute, the band. It wasn't a tribute band, Dr. Feelgood. I could hear them from where we were sat on the campsite. It's a fair way away. They were so loud, but it was freezing cold. I don't know if anyone else was there who thought, God, it was bloody freezing, because it was. But I couldn't go. My leg was really hurting, so I thought I'm going to sit where I am, not move around too much, because I didn't want to damage my leg any further. So early night once again. That was Saturday over. On the Sunday, I woke up and the infection in my leg had spread quite dramatically. I woke up quite early. I do anyway. I went for a wee. Came back and I got straight back into bed, and by 10 o'clock I still hadn't surfaced. So Debbie was instantly like, yeah, something wrong with you. So saw Chili Jam Jeff and Sally, his missus, and said, look, I'm going to have to go to hospital, see you in a bit. Went off to the hospital and sat in the minor injuries unit for around about 12 hours. We got there for about 12-ish, 12:30, and I didn't get seen by a doctor actually till midnight. It was horrendous. They were so busy. I feel really sorry for them, because there wasn't a massive load of people on, but they were really busy. Lots of people falling off the legs like me. Yeah, so big thank you to them lot though. They really were, you know, there's nothing they could do about it. There just weren't enough doctors and nurses around to help treat everyone. You know, it's just a rush job. It's not like you can just ring up a load, pop in, because specialist people and that. But anyway, so yeah, after that I ended up staying in overnight, having an IV drip, just pumping me full of antibiotics. The next morning I got up and all the pain in my knee had gone. It was as if somebody flicked a switch. It was very strange. I was seen by a specialist and they came to the diagnosis that I had pre-patellar bursitis, which had then caused cellulitis, an infection called cellulitis. So I'm not entirely sure what that means, really. It just means I've got to be a bit more careful. Getting on a bit, so banging things, not good for me. So that was my Sunday, and then for the rest of the Monday, I was waiting for my medication to be given to me, which took forever. I didn't actually get out of hospital till about 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and I walked out and was like, I've missed my entire weekend. So I'm very sorry, I missed it all the people that I was going to see and buy things from. I'm sorry I didn't get around to you because I wasn't there. Maybe next year. We'll give it a go. I'm going to wrap myself in cotton wool for the whole rest of the year, and especially on the couple of days heading up to it, so I should be fine for next year, touch wood. Anyway, so that was that. And Dave and Louise had driven up to Sheffield to pick their dogs up and come back down, and before they went to their boat they popped in to see how I was and say hello, and Louise went to poke my knee. I didn't let her. So yeah, it was lovely of them to turn up, and so sorry I ruined the weekend. Debbie had an interesting time in the camper van on her own without me, or sat in the hospital waiting for me to be seen, while I moaned about how much pain I was in. Really, I was a grumpy bum, but never mind. It's all on the mend now. I'm on my antibiotics. Got a few more of them to take. The pain's gone down a lot, and I'm wearing a knee brace and being as gentle as possible. I'm being a bit of a girl's blouse about it, really. But I'm just feeling much better, so I'm going to keep you posted about that. But that was Crick, unfortunately. If you've got any better stories about Crick, why don't you tell me in the comments box so I can be jealous? Like I say, there's always next year. We'll give it a go. Exciting times ahead. Anyway. Coventry looks nice. Right, so that's Crick done. Really sorry that Paul and Nancy didn't win. I can't really comment on what the boat looks like. From what I've seen in the pictures, it looks stunning. But then again, so does the braid bar. I think the standard every year is just getting better and better. A few little innovations here and there. I'm desperate to see those roof lights on Morningstar, just to see what sort of, because they look like they're bringing David and Heather. I think it was David and Heather. They went to see the boat and they said it made a massive difference, because Heather suffers with a bit of claustrophobia, and she said she didn't feel like she was boxed in. That's the thing with these little narrow boats, you do feel a bit boxed in. But there we go. Okay, so that wraps up Crick. I'll tell you all about Debbie's thoughts on the weekend, but she's not here. She's off just getting ready for the week. I've just been painting the boat. Oh, it's my favourite one. Oh, hang on. Nice. No, that won't. Hello. Hey. That's my favourite boat of the Duck Island ones. It's got the Edwardian, did you call it the Edwardian front bit, bow. Yeah, I love that boat. A bit like Holly, the cafe boat. That's got, I love them boats. Anyway, so that's Crick done. I just got to know any other business on my list here. My leg wound that I got, the other one previous to this one. So I've been in the wars, me. That's finally on the way to being healed. I'll put a picture in now. Yeah, there we are. She looks pretty good there. Now, pretty much done and dusted. I've got a nice scar that I can impress the ladies with. And Debbie says I'm not to do that again, so I won't. Right. Oh, another one was the when I did the video on cleaning the fridge so that the gas worked properly again, and I got from it's called Bear Main, and he's an American chap, and he says that the hot vent tube, which comes up the back, what I should do is get a brush. There's another boat. Ooh. There's a yogurt pot. The yogurt pot there, yeah. Yeah, sorry, Bear Main. The hot vent tube on the fridge, if you put a brush down it, give it a good clean out regularly every 6 months. So that's what I'm going to do. I didn't do that originally, so the fridge is working fine at the moment, but if it does have any slight things, I'm going to get there, brush down it, clean it all out, which will be the next time the clocks change. which will be October, probably. Yeah, there we go. So hello there, or howdy, or y'all, and whatever you say in America over there. I think it's Massachusetts way. Could be wrong, but that way. America. And Otto is a pal of mine. I haven't seen in ages, and because of COVID and what have you, I've kept away from him because, you know, I didn't want to give him anything, you know, make him ill or anything like that. But Otto's a good pal of mine. We do miss him. We miss you, Otto. We must see you soon. He was going on about the music that I used in the previous video. I can't remember what it was. I think I got it off my iMusic. Not iMusic, the iMovie thing. The thing I do the editing with. There's a little section with all the music in. I think I did it off that. Just a bit of a change. Yeah. Rob and Carol from Narrowboat Liberty. Yeah, put teeth in. They're on the Lanky at the moment. They've been in a marina having the blacking done, which is an interesting video to watch because they've used an epoxy primer. I think it's Jotun 88. They've used an epoxy primer and then they've blacked over the top of it. So I haven't watched that video yet. I'm going to watch it because I want to see how they've done it. It looked like a lot of fun, and it was Carol's birthday, and I did forget, and I'm so sorry, I forgot to wish her a happy birthday. So happy belated birthday, Carol. I hope you had a really good day, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I was busy falling off things. Anyway, obviously a big hello to Stella. She was talking about our engine problems, and she was saying, yeah, it's typical. And Matthew has actually done one of the courses on how to look after the engine, just to make it cheaper for them, because, you know, we're not all rich people or well off or in good jobs. So sometimes we have to just make do amend. I think Stella's either wanting to retire or has retired now early. So when you do that sort of thing, you have less money to live on. So the more you can do for yourself, the better, really. I know just about enough to get in some really deep trouble, but not enough to get out of it. Yet. So I'm going to do that course as well. I didn't get a chance to talk to Matthew too much about it because obviously he had his own followers to talk to, you know. But there we go. And finally, I think it's Jan or Yanka, Jan. I think it's Jan. Apologies, I'm not very good with names and things like that. And Chili Jam Jeff, they both noticed while I ran the engine without the rocker box on. There wasn't a lot of oil coming through into my face. I should have been spattering everywhere. There was only a little pool going. So there's a possibility that my oil pump has given up the ghost, and that has contributed towards my big ends going in the engine. That is another story, and that we will find about next time, because as we left you in going up the locks and towards Ratcliffe Wharf, we then had John, my engineer, come out and look at the engine and give us that horrible news that the big end had gone and that it needed an engine out. I'm not kidding you. We both were quite about it all because, yeah, it's a lot of money. We've had a bit of luck, which has contributed towards paying for that, which has eased our minds quite a lot. But it was touch and go. It was a real worry for a while as to whether or not we were going to be able to afford it. John would have helped us all he could, but sometimes I would have just had to go and borrow some money. That would have been the end of it all. I could earn enough, but it wouldn't have come straight away. And I don't like doing it on the never never. I like to pay on the nose, because I've been a builder all my life, and being paid dribs and drabs can really mess up your cash flow situation. So anyway, that's all sorted. Bit of a windfall has given us a bit of breathing room, and I've got money to pay for that, which has really helped us out. And yeah, I'm not going into detail, but we've done all right. So that's about everything. If you've got any comments about this, if you like the video or you preferred me wittering on to what I normally do, just put me in the comment box, wherever YouTube's put it this week. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that little bell icon so YouTube can mind you next time we release one. But I reckon that's everything on my list, so it's time to call it a draw. Till next time.